My baby mama went celibate. Lies on my breath, she said she couldn't take the smell of it.
How much sunshine is too much sunshine? That is the question. Chance's optimism, glee-filled, sugar-coated presence, interchangeable for a large calippo, plus infatuation with spiritual rejuvenation in the form of gospel-inspired fodder, has slowly begun to feel more testing of the patience the more that he truly meant it. Colouring Book dominated the year in 2016, or at least it did for me, and I have fond memories of the songs on there, especially that one interlude track where Dram sings his heart out. But of course, it isn't something that I exactly like to listen to now. I can appreciate the uplifting Christian faith aspect from afar, in the sense that I understand what it's like to finally feel recharged with a new sense of purpose, plus a safety net for me to fall back upon when I'm in dire times, or when I drop a shit debut album. Yes, you've probably heard it at this point, The Big Day is a bad album, but I thought I would actually differ from the crowd this time, mainly because the first bunch of tracks were actually really well fleshed out versions of the summery, chillaxed, sniffly, grillin' with the lads type of gospel hip-hop that Chance was always hinting at moving towards, also drawing upon Chicago influences like house and juke for a bit of peppery fun. I do remember hearing Ben Gibbard's voice on one of the early tracks and then turning it off. His twee voice tends to marry instrumentals like Eggshell Upon Concrete, but melody-wise, after returning to tracks like these, I took a deep breath and realised it's not that bad, which is the ethos of this album as it sifts through old memories, looking forward to the opportunities of the future after Chance's wedding. It's not that bad. Chance's geeky, spoken wordish delivery is actually really charming for me. I think he touches upon certain cheesy but cute imagery that reminds me of those brief, silly glimmers of happiness that remind you that, you know, it's not that bad. And then Hot Shower comes on, and I remember that I hate weddings. A lot of the time the cordial is shit, and the speeches go on for too long, and I'm staring at the cathedral window waiting for the reception so I can drown my gut in collard greens and overfrosted wedding cake. The problem with The Big Day is actually not Chance's infatuation with relational happiness, or the friends we made along the way. That's really one of its stronger assets, that it's sincere. The problem is that it's also sincerely shit. Hot Shower is the type of track that makes me need a cold one, scraping against the bottom of the damp, smelly barrel of hashtag quirky randomness as Chance adopts a flow and trap beat reminiscent of Womp Womp by Valley, and that's a song that hits the balance between goofy brainlessness and steadfast confidence really well. Chance, on the other hand, raps like somebody who didn't give a fuck, followed by two MCs who better match the beat than he does, but let's be honest, it doesn't matter whether DaBaby drops in at the end, nobody was saving that track.
Trying to catch sleep, trying to count sheep. Hot damn, hot water, hot shower. Hot Atlanta smoking green cauliflower.
Neither is anybody able to carry the track Rue, whether it's the dollar store Drake delivery, Chance saying absolutely anything to pass the time, the attempt at impersonating the nasal and obnoxious loudness of 070 Shake, or the inclusion of bananas and avocados type indie singers. We Go High, despite Chance's hit-to-miss ratio for singing notes being more bottom-heavy than Kali Uchis, manages to capture at least some sense of longing, the feeling of realizing that we must all move on, and the world is still spinning. And what does Chance say on the chorus to emphasize this feeling? It's so sad, it's too bad. Cheers, bro. The inclusion of hip house swagger is admirable up until the point where you realize it's not. A lot of these attempts involve throwing things at the track to see what might sound good, and miraculously none of it does, from Shawn Mendes to pitch-shifted vocal sound bites to gospel choir harmonies. Oh look, a slow piano-based ballad to make me feel in touch with my feelings. I'm sure I would have fallen for it had I not known about it for the past mixtape and a half. This is the type of thing that Lunch Money Lewis would have done on his EP in 2015. Add on some lavish strings to swindle my heart. Oh, it's so wistful and nostalgic. Throw fucking Randy Newman in there too. He reminds me of Woody and Buzz Lightyear. I can see some justification being in the form of the fact that Chance at least has a lot of heart in what he's doing, which apparently warrants more faithful interpretation of his art, but sunshiny consciousness doesn't always mean quality. There are still people who think Atmosphere was dropping good records after 2005. The breaking point for me was the title track, actually. I think that one single-handedly collapsed the record's entire ethos, helped me realize that I don't think there was any idea discussed of what to actually do before going into the studio. If you listen closely, in the background there are giggling and having a good time, and if you didn't realize that during your listen, then I don't blame you, because do you remember what came before it? Three out of 10, fuck this.